A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Beetv News Updates at 3. I am Ruth Obodu and now the news in detail. The Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to adequately empower the Nigeria Armed Forces to overcome the nation's security challenges, while paying tribute to officers and men who lost their lives in defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity and the safety of lives and property. The Vice President gave the assurance during a special Jumat prayer held at the National Mosque in Abuja as part of activities marking the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. It described the sacrifices of fallen soldiers as priceless and urged continued national support for the military. January 15 is observed annually by the federal government to honor members of the Nigeria Armed Forces. The military recently renamed the event from Armed Forces Remembrance Day to Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day to reflect its dual purpose of celebrating serving personnel while remembering fallen heroes. A former deputy governor of Osun State, Senator Iola Omisore, has called for genuine reconciliation among party members to ensure victory in the August 2026 governorship election. He urged both the national and state leadership of the party to initiate and drive the reconciliation process. The report.
It was an interdenominational prayer session organized in Osogbo by Senator Iola Omisore for his supporters to usher in the new year. Christian and Islamic clerics who led the prayer stressed the importance of faith in God as 2026 begins.
Because the major reason why we are here is to focus anything you want to do in life. If you don't focus on God and you don't commit it, or you don't act from God, or you don't tell God that God should lead you, so every other thing will just be in faith.
Senator Iola Omisore, who was represented by the Director General of his campaign organization, Ajubala, said party members are ready to work for unity if genuine reconciliation is carried out.
We are waiting for directive from the party leadership, the party executives. We have a state ESCO, we have the leadership at the state. They are going to, initiate the moves. How do we go about the campaign towards the election? Then, of course, we don't need to forget that there should be a genuine reconciliation. If we can genuinely reconcile all our members and we are all working together, definitely August 8th will be a glorious day for us. But we are expecting for directive from the party.
Elsewhere in Ife, Senator Babajide met with his supporters from across the state, urging them to work towards the party's victory in the August governorship election. The meeting was attended by the APC governorship candidate, Bola Oyebamiji.
We must work together as a team in APC with a view to winning. If we work together as a team, harness our strength and provide shock absorber for our weaknesses, I'm sure we will win.
This is part of the reconciliation. This is part of the collaboration. We are going to collaborate together, and we are going to tell all the members of our party that we have to be in unity and that we have to drive the party to achieve the best for the people of Osun.
It was the first time the two former governorship aspirants met with their supporters since the primary election held in December 2025. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for Beetv.
In line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the National Directorate of Employment now has a new befitting headquarters. It represents not only a change in location but also a strengthened commitment to job creation, skills development, and inclusive empowerment across Nigeria. The report.
Management and staff of the National Directorate of Employment has resumed operations at their permanent headquarters in Gudu. For years, the agency operated from a rented facility in Wuse, which, though functional, lacked adequate space and amenities. The relocation comes exactly 1 year after Director General Silas Agara took office with a mandate to align the agency with the federal government's renewed hope agenda.
Difficult to even have a courtesy visit or to interact with foreign organizations that want to do business with you. It was difficult because first impression matters. And ND is supposed to be an agency that gives hope to Nigerians, to young ones that are looking for opportunity. And when they come see where you operate from, they become hopeless because they don't see anything good coming from that agency with that kind of structure. And so it was quite difficult, actually. We were just putting up and encouraging the staff.
Staff members of the National Directorate of Employment expressed renewed enthusiasm, improved coordination, and a growing sense of institutional pride following the relocation. Over the past year, the agency has intensified efforts to tackle unemployment, particularly among youth, women, and persons with disabilities. Under the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative, more than 41,000 Nigerians are currently undergoing trainings in over 30 skills selected from electoral wards nationwide to ensure inclusivity. Additionally, over 14,000 beneficiaries have received startup packs to help them establish their own businesses. At the Yaba office in Lagos, Choma Godwin is one of such beneficiary. After 3 months of training in catering, she now independently runs her own catering business.
Continental dishes, you understand? Because that's something I've always wanted to know how to do. Now this thing is give me money, aside from my other things that I do, right? But this is mine. Yeah, the government are trying. Let me say, they have really done a lot for us, because people that are not opportune, people that don't have money, you understand, to learn crafts, at least the government has already eased their listen.
From new facilities to renewed programs, the NDE says its focus remains creating sustainable livelihoods, restoring dignity to work, and ensuring no Nigerian is left behind. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BTV News.
President Bola Tinubu has commended operators of the Nigeria stock market for the high-level performance of the market in 2025. The Nigeria stock market has achieved an unprecedented 100 trillion naira market capitalization at the end of 2025, drawing praise for President Bola Tinubu. The president expressed excitement over the record performance and pledged continued support for the market, urging Nigerians at home and abroad to invest as a way of building lasting wealth. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Timi Agama, attributed the success to sound government financial policies that have restored investor confidence. Similarly, the Group Managing Director and CEO of the Nigeria Exchange Group, Tiwa, credited reforms under President Tinubu's administration for the market's strong performance. The stock market grew by over 51% in 2025, enabling companies to reward shareholders with substantial dividends and price gains. The Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority have intensified efforts to enhance regulatory efficiency and attract investment in the country's oil and gas sector. The renewed collaboration was formalized during a meeting at the NUPRC corporate headquarters in Abuja, where the chief executives of both organizations agreed to work more closely. Each agency will nominate representatives to jointly address and resolve regulatory issues affecting its sector. Islamic clerics have urged Muslims to fulfill their civic responsibility by filing tax reform returns promptly and with integrity. The advice was given at the 2026 Mohammed Roussel International Conference, where experts convened to explore ways of aligning Islamic principles with the government's new tax law. The report.
The 7th edition of the Mohammed Rasoulin International Conference, which attracted clerics from across Nigeria and beyond, emphasized the importance of Muslims fulfilling their civil duty by paying taxes. This year's conference focused on educating the faithful on bridging economic gaps between innovative approach, AI compliance, and creating an ethical business environment in line with Nigeria's new tax law. Speaking at the event, clerics noted that paying tax to the government is an integral part of faith.
As a law-abiding citizens, you have to go by what the government say, and even this tax reform, it is in Islam. So no sensible Muslim will go against what the government wants because it is part of Islam already.
They also highlighted that the tax law promotes fairness and transparency, encouraging compliance among Muslims.
Tax reform regime is a great thing that has happened to Nigeria, especially with this administration. There must be accountability and transparency in the use of this fund to better the lot of Nigerians.
No nation thrives without an adequate tax system. And the Prophet ﷺ himself encouraged us.
Islamic clerics have encouraged Muslims to leverage technology to enhance and grow their businesses.
The right way, you have to be a manager of your data. Because when you understand data, you collect data, you analyze data, you can not only scale your business, but also build for the future. Right? The biggest companies in the world right now, talk about NVIDIA, Google, Facebook, TikTok, all these companies do not have refineries. What the leverage is data.
Clerics urge religious groups and institutions to take the lead in engaging Islamic business forums that promote ethical business. They emphasize that such engagement will help ensure the faithful comply with and support government policies that align with Islamic values. Precious Agbolahor reporting for Beetv News.
The Jaw National Congress has condemned renewed impeachment attempts against Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, describing him as a serious threat to democracy and stability in the Niger Delta. In a statement issued in Yanogwa, the Apex-era socio-cultural body expressed concern over the resumption of impeachment proceedings by the Rivers State House of Assembly against Governor Fubara and his deputy. The INC noted that this marks the third impeachment attempt since 2023, warning that the moves reflect a pattern of political vendetta capable of destabilizing both Rivers State and the wider Niger Delta region.
Of such attempts since 2023, revealing a relentless circle of political vendetta that must be condemned and broken. We stand firmly with the people of Rivers State and all defenders of constitutional order in rejecting this dangerous gambit.
Former Senate leader and ambassador of the Renewed Hope in Oyo State, Teslin Folarin, has condemned the deadly attack on a national park office in a local village, calling for the immediate investigation and prosecution of those responsible. Speaking at a Renewed Hope Unity rally in Ibaraka, Folarin and other chieftains of the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State described the attack as a grievous assault on peace and security, emphasizing that criminality and banditry have no place in the state or anywhere in Nigeria. They also appeal to residents of border communities to remain calm, vigilant, and cooperate fully with security personnel deployed to the affected area.
In the course of that particular activity was an unfortunate one. But at the same time, all necessary measures are already in place to ensure that there will not be reoccurrence of such, bitter experience.
We are going on a short break. Do stay with us.
Gone but not forgotten. Our dearly beloved mommy and matriarch, late Madam Gift Soe Irabo. Mommy, it's been 8 years since you left us in this sinful world. And just like a burnt down library, our world crashed when death took you away from us. As our mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sister, aunt, and mother-in-law, we will not forget in a hurry the great lessons you taught us, especially your prayerful lifestyle that brought us closer to God. We remember your undying love, care, and passion for God and man. The entire family of Yorama Erabo of Ogo Town in Orion local government area of Edo State cordially invites the public to the 8 years remembrance of their daughter, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, Madam Gift Soe Erabo. Date, January 13, 2026. Venue, Rose Garden Event Center, number 22, Giwa Amu Street, off Airport Road, GRA, Benin City. Time, 12 p.m. prompt. Mommy, continue to rest until we meet to part no more. We love you dearly. Signed, Ambassador Ogene Osaumese JP for the family.
Welcome back, and now to the business news. The federal government has proposed 6.04 billion for personnel costs at the Ajo-Okuta Steel Company Limited in the 2026 budget, despite the company's failure to produce steel for over 40 years. The report.
Out of the total 6.69 billion naira allocated to the firm, salaries and allowances alone account for about 90%, reinforcing Ajaokuta's reputation as a dormant public enterprise sustained mainly by payroll spending. A breakdown of the allocation shows 4.79 billion naira earmarked for salaries, while 1.25 billion naira is set aside for allowances and social contributions such as pensions, health insurance, and employee compensation. In contrast, overhead costs were limited to 233.63 million naira, and capital expenditure meant for reviving operations stood just 410.8 million naira, reflecting minimal investment in actual production. Although the personnel costs represent a slight adjustment from previous years, the trend remains unchanged. In 2025, the government allocated 6.21 billion naira for salaries, up from 4.29 billion naira in 2024, showing a steady rise in recurrent spending despite the steel plant's continued inactivity. Dangote asked EFCC to probe former NMDPRA boss. Aliko Dangote has petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate alleged corruption involving the former chief executive of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed. The petition was submitted through Dangote's legal team and made public by the Dangote Group on Friday. The move follows Dangote's recent withdrawal of a similar petition from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, a decision described as strategic and aimed at speeding up prosecution. The earlier petition accused Ahmed of abusing office and engaging in corrupt enrichment, including allegedly spending $5 million on his children's education abroad. In the petition to the EFCC, Dangote urged the commission to thoroughly investigate the allegations and prosecute Ahmed if found culpable. His lawyer said the EFCC is well positioned to handle corruption cases effectively and ensure accountability through the courts. Skepticism trails 10 billion naira airtime data refund claims. Nigerian banks and telecom operators claim they have refunded over 10 billion naira to customers for failed airtime and data purchases, according to the Nigerian Communications Commission. However, many customers remain skeptical, questioning how the refunds were calculated and where the money actually went. The NCC said the refunds were made ahead of a new joint framework with the Central Bank of Nigeria designed to address frequent complaints over failed transactions. Such failures usually occur during airtime or data purchases made through bank USSD codes or mobile apps where customers were debited even when services are not available. Under the new framework, regulators are working with banks, mobile network operators, and payment platforms to improve coordination and ensure automatic refunds. While officials insist progress has been made, customers continue to demand clearer evidence that the claimed refund truly reached affected accounts. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BTV News.
U.S. employment growth slowed significantly in December, with employers adding just 50,000 jobs, far below expectations and marking one of the weakest monthly gains in years. The slowdown was driven by job losses in construction, retail and manufacturing, while modern gains were seen in healthcare, social assistance and the hospitality sector. The report.
Despite the slowdown, the unemployment rate fell to 4.4%, down from 4.5% in November, suggesting the labor market remains relatively resilient. Analysts said the decline reflects more of a gradual cooling than a sharp deterioration. Sector breakdowns showed retail employment fell by 25,000, construction lost 11,000 jobs, and manufacturing dropped 8,000. In contrast, restaurants and bars added 27,000 positions, healthcare grew by 21,000, and social assistance rose by 17,000. Government employment remained largely unchanged. Wages continued to grow, with average hourly earnings up 3.8% from a year earlier, indicating that while hiring slowed, compensation pressures remain. For the full year, the U.S. economy added roughly 584,000 jobs, averaging 49,000 per month, a notable slowdown compared with 2024, when over 2 million jobs were created. Economists attribute the muted growth to trade uncertainty, demographic shifts, and increased automation in certain sectors. The Federal Reserve is expected to keep interest rates steady, with the subdued hiring data reinforcing a caution approach to further monetary policy adjustments. Favor Kolawole reporting for BTV News.
And now to entertainment. Popular TikToker Pella has officially confirmed his breakup with fellow content creator Jarvis, putting an end to months of speculation around their relationship. The pair had been dating since 2024, but reports of irreconcilable differences began circulating in 2025. And also, Stranger Things star tops UK chart as show revives classic hits. The report.
Following the split, Pella went through a highly emotional period, which culminated in a public breakdown in December and a crash involving his luxury car. The incident sparked heavy criticism online, with many interpreting it as a cry for help. Eventually, the TikToker took to social media to confirm that the relationship was truly over. In a surprising twist, Pella declared that he no longer intends to date Nigerian women. While he did not mention a specific country, he hinted at a place where bride price is paid with up to 800 cows, referencing a woman from that country who had recently gone viral online. A 17-year-old UK-born teenager, Teddy Onwuchekwa, has turned to social media in a bid to locate his long-lost Nigerian father. Teddy, who was raised in London by his English mother, said his father left when he was just 2 years old and has been unreachable ever since. Despite multiple attempts over the years, the teenager said he has been unable to trace any information about his father or his extended Nigerian family. With no clear leads, Teddy decided to share his story publicly in hopes of reconnecting with his roots. Social media activist Very Dark Man responded by amplifying the case online. He shared photos allegedly showing Teddy's father and grandfather and urged the public to help circulate the images, asking anyone with useful information to come forward. Joe Carey, best known for for his role as Steve Harrington in Stranger Things, has topped the UK music chart under his stage name Dijo. His song End of Beginning, released in 2022, climbed to #1 following the release of the show's final season. Although the track is not featured on the show's official soundtrack, it went viral on TikTok as fans used it in edits of the final episode. The surge pushed the song to 5.4 million UK streams in 1 week and over 55 million global Spotify plays. The show's impact also revived several classic 1980s tracks with songs by Prince, Kate Bush and the Police re-entering the UK top 20. End of Beginning dethroned Taylor Swift, The Fate of Ophelia, Spotify's global chart just 1 day after the final episode drop, underscoring the massive cultural influence of Stranger Things. And that's it on the entertainment news. Evelyn Izibili reporting for Beetv News.
And on to sports. Brahim Diaz kept up his remarkable African Cup of Nations scoring record, and Ismail Saberi was also on target as host Morocco beat Cameroon 2-0 in their quarter-final showdown on Friday to keep their title dreams alive. Real Madrid winger Diaz got the decisive touch to Ayoub El Kabi's 26-minute header in front of more than 64,000 fans at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in capital Rabat. Diaz's fifth goal in 5 matches at the tournament was followed by Sabari's strike in the second half, with Morocco well worth their victory as they progress to a semi-final against the winner of Saturday's clash between Algeria and Nigeria. That promises to be a stiffer test for Walid Regraoi's team that's more than that proposed by Cameroon, who were hoping to spring an upset, having already exceeded expectations in coming this far after a troubled build-up to the tournament. The indomitable Lions, 5-time African champions, created little with Manchester United forward Brian Mbembo struggling to make an impact. Morocco, Africa's top-ranked team and World Cup semi-finalists in 2022, are under enormous pressure to win the Cup of Nations in front of their own fans, half a century after their last continental title. There have been doubts as to whether they can handle the weight of expectation, but they remain on course to achieve their objective. It is the first time Morocco have reached the AFCON semi-final since they lost the 2004 final to Tunisia. The hosts were unchanged from their 1-0 last 16 win over Tanzania as they look to continue an unbeaten record going back to their defeat by South Africa at the 2024 AFCON. Fresh from knocking out South Africa in the last round, Cameroon were clearly banking on frustrating Morocco as much as possible in an attempt to turn the crowd against the home side. And that is all on our 3 p.m. news update. Thank you for joining and stay tuned for our 6 p.m. major news. I am Ruth Obodu. Goodbye for now.